Ladies and gentlemen, the following program you're about to watch is brought to you by NuMedia TV in London. Live stream with confidence.
Warning! The following program may contain graphics and video images that some viewers may find disturbing and traumatizing. Some of this violent content may be too graphic and intense for some people. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. NuMedia TV.
This is a special announcement on our rights to the choice of royalty-free tunes in all of our videos and podcasts. It has become a common practice occurring or appearing so frequently on Facebook with claims of copyright infringement in many of our live streams and video content. Frank Bello and the team at NuMedia TV would like to state unequivocally that Frank Bello and NuMedia TV have all legal rights to use over 700 royalty-free tunes in all of our videos and live streams and have not infringed any intellectual property rights. Some other tunes that may be used in some of our videos were also fully paid for on the Movavi video editor software program and another paid-up monthly subscription on Restream.io. Proof of purchase and delivery of the over 700 royalty-free tunes can be found at Sounds Best Delivery at Shopify.com, delivered and downloaded. Date of purchase, Tuesday the 12th of January 2021, time of purchase, 17:17 hours in London.
Fair Use Act Disclaimer. Fair Use Copyright Disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as nonprofit, criticism, news reporting, comment, teaching, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Content disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed in this media or comments on this channel are those of the speakers or authors, and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters. Due to the social nature of this broadcasting channel, videos and audios may contain content copyrighted by another entity or person. This channel's owner claims no copyright to said content. The broadcaster of this channel cannot be held accountable to the copyrighted content. The broadcaster of this channel is a messenger and sharer of information and strives to verify the accuracy of such information, but cannot warrant the accuracy of copyrights or completeness of the information on this channel.
This is NuMedia TV in London. Live stream with confidence. On this channel, we tell stories through digital content in areas of politics, bad leadership, and governance throughout Africa and the rest of the world. Your feedback and experience is very important to us. It helps us build a more robust community now than ever. If this is your first time on our channels, please don't forget to smash the like button and follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Let's get started.
Yes, indeed. Let's get started. Good evening, all. Good evening to you all, my avid viewers across the whole world. I salute you. I bring you good tidings. I bring you love. I bring you happiness. I bring you all that is good on the surface of this planet. Yes, I'm yours and truly your host, Frank Bello. Yes, as you guys can actually see right there in front of you, there, here. Today's date is Wednesday, the 14th day of February 2024. Some people will say, oh, happy Valentine. I'm very sorry. I'm a very weird human being. Valentine is one of those marketing gimmicks created by the Western world as a marketing package just immediately after the Christmas and Boxing Day and the New Year celebration, because they want to get their products moving, especially the florist. Valentine Day was specifically created so that florists can equally benefit from their own fair share of the economic gain. And then after Valentine's Day, then you're going to move straight into the Easter celebration, and that's another kettle of fish entirely. Yes, it is Wednesday today, the 14th day of February 2024, and the time currently in London is 20:38 to 9 London time. Yes, wherever you're watching the live stream, I greet you. Darani Jojuwon, good afternoon to you from the United States. Yes, good afternoon, Darani Jojuwon. You are watching the stream from Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States of America, which is on the other side of the pond. I have decided this evening not to send alerts out to a handful of people, because I want to see who will watch the live stream without sending alerts, or some of you, my avid viewers that I've got on the WhatsApp communication that I used to send alerts to. I decided not to do that today, unless and otherwise you really want to catch up with me and anytime I am live. That's why I always leave this podcast and live stream to the later part of the evening stroke midnight London time, when everybody from all the geographic local time zones from wherever they are can actually watch the stream. I have something that I am cooking up in my mind, and that's why I have decided not to start sending alerts to a handful of people. Yes, I'm praying towards that. And if God answers my prayers, I'm going to surprise some people. Yes. Anyway, Darani Jojuwon, I can spot you. If you don't comment, let me assure you, I won't be able to recognize you, because I only stream with, before I'll put up all my gadgets, so that even if you comment and if you don't comment, I can still see. But I've been advised by the team to stop that because of some of the things that the team are cooking up. I'm not going to tell you. Yes, it is Wednesday, 14th day of February 2024. The year of our Lord, and the time currently at this point in time is exactly 2041 by the console. Tonight, We are going to go into part 3 of which way Nigeria, which way to go. Mind you, a lot has been happening. Quite a lot has been happening. And those things that are currently happening, I think I predicted this in the year 2020, December 2020, that COVID lockdown paved the way for the New World Order, NWO. And I also predicted that in the year 2022, we will begin to see the churches across the whole world being dismantled, because the judgment and the wrath of God is going to start from the temple. That is happening. For Nigeria, I gave the predictions that a lot of those that messed up, a country that God blessed, endowed in the world, some ridiculous, ruthless, hopeless vagabonds that marooned themselves as politicians. Politicians, they trick people, they trick you all. They equally will begin to see the wrath of God. In some of those streams, I equally made it known that you and I, individually, we all came to this world with nothing. And we surely will return back with absolute nothing. But the exact thing that will leave after we are gone on this journey of our life, this reincarnation that we came purposely, whatever we've done as legacy is exactly what people will take to remember us. And whatever you have done, you and I, we have done, this plane of existence that our soul, I'm not talking because there's a clear distinction between soul and spirit. When we reincarnate, our soul will find a body. And when we die, it is that soul that will leave the body to go into the world beyond. Did you get that? And when the soul departs this physical body, because this physical body is just a vehicle for the soul, that soul will then go back into the reincarnation cycle. And as such, the soul will continue to come back until the soul's is able to achieve its purpose. You see, you do good in this life. When you go through the reincarnation cycle, you don't determine where your soul is going to go in a physical body, whereby your parents and your mom will then get pregnant. You see, your karma in the previous life determines exactly where your soul is going to go the next time. This is going to be a little bit of spiritual before we begin to move into the physical. Because, like I always say, there are two distinctive parts in our lives. Number one, the physical, and number two, the spiritual. The physical, you guys might see your physical body as who you are, this plane of existence. But your spiritual battle, your spiritual life is the most important one, because your physical is just mere mortal. It will die. It will come to an end one day. I will definitely come to an end one day. I don't know. That is a question for the source of all creation. But the soul never dies. And when you look at the soul, either you be it white or black, the human soul, do you know the color of the human soul? The color of the human soul is jet black. I have things to prove that. And I think I've proved that once. The human soul is not white. The human soul is black in color. Unfortunately, I was watching a program on YouTube today. A white woman married a white man, a real white. No blood contamination. Just to prove to you who God is. The couple gave birth to a black child. And I've equally seen a Ghanaian woman here in the UK. Husband black, wife black, both Ghanaians in the UK, that gave birth to a white child. Plain Caucasian white child. That is how mysterious Tetragrammaton Sabaoth, the Lord of hosts, works. He works in mysterious circumstances. Steve Osage, I can spot you. Now, because tonight's topic, I promise you guys I'll be coming back Wednesday today. I'm going to start tonight's show. And I want to show you this. Because when I stream, I come up with real facts. Now, I once talked about life path code, the gate of our entrance into this world, how we descended down from heaven. And I equally argued. In fact, before I bring in that, let me see if I have this particular one here. Oh yes, I have it here. Now, when I started with my crack on the universal secret code, I showed you this guy. I showed some of you that must have been with me a long time that when the spiritual source of all creation was at the process of creating many wonderful things on this planet Earth that we call home. We call it science, made us believe it is Earth. You see, I told you guys that the spiritual source of all creation, Tetragrammaton Sabaoth, the Lord of Hosts, the I Am, he walked with these numbers, these digits. They are all single digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Single digits. And I made it clear so that many of you can actually see it. And in red, you can see 369, which apparently happens to be the secret vibrational energy code that is secretly vibrating over the country called Nigeria. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, I want you to take note of this, because what you are about to learn are secret code, and I told you before, and I think this was in the year either 2017 or 2018 or so, when Citizen AY Ayo Ogundimu was still with Omoyele Sowore, or maybe before that time, before 2015, when I made it known, because not many people are aware of the fact that the control of the world is about control of land and resources. I was the first person that made it known. And I was the first person that equally made it known to Ayo Ogundimu that the world is run in symbols and in code. And the symbols and the code are secretly being flaunted over you guys, but you guys don't see the eyes to see how your world is being run. That's the problem. And that is why you are unable to see how your world is being run in symbols and in code. You guys perish for lack of knowledge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, you and I, based on the constellation of the stars, depending on the date of our birth, that we want to access this world. Because your date of birth provides you your access code to this plane of existence from wherever you are coming from. You can either be a life path 1 or 2, 11-2 master number, 3, 4, 5, 4 another master number, 22-4, 5, 6 another number, 33-6, 7, 8 and 9 another master number. Top echelon, because when you look at 9, anything that you add 9 to or you multiply 9 by, 9 will always return to itself. Try it. Because the square root of 9 is 3. So you and I, there is no path that is not good. Every path, depending on your DOB. And I'm going to show you something today that is so frightening. You are either life path 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. Now, if you begin to want to count in tens, that is when you add 0 to any of these numbers and you begin to count in tens. And then if you add another digit to it, that is when you begin to count in hundreds. Add another digit to it in thousands until infinity. But you want to get to know who you are either one of those 9 parts. And I'm going to show you something that is frightening. And I'll bring in cases to buttress this argument, and then we will move on to the next one. Guys, if this is your first time joining the live stream, please share it. Abbas Ganiu, you're welcome to the stream. I deliberately refuse to send alerts out to people because I want to, there's something I am cooking up in my brain very soon. And I've already started taking note of what I am cooking up in my brain from today, from tonight's stream. Now, guys, look at this man, this great man. See, that was the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. You see, remember 1 to 9? Chief Obafemi Awolowo was born in 1909, and he died in 1987. Born 1909, 1987. Now, if we look at the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo's zodiac sign, you can clearly see from the 6th day of March 1909 died that the late sage was born. You can clearly see Chief Obafemi Awolowo was a Pisces, the fish. Omomi, water bearer. That was when he was born. And the star that was in constellation at the time the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo was born on the 6th of March 1909 was Pisces. Pisces was in constellation. Now, for us to actually get to know who Chief Obafemi Awolowo is in real life, some people will be gazing through his zodiac sign as a Pisces. But the real Chief Obafemi Awolowo, if you want to know him much better, you will get to know the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo better as a life path 1. Because when we collapse his access code to this plane of existence, that is the 6th of March 1909, all you need to do is to just add up all those sums. And when we add 6 plus 03 plus 1909, if you like, you can put 0 before the 6 as well. 0, as I said, is an empty shell. It does not have any value. It doesn't have any value. But it can be so potent and terrible because 0 will magnify any other number from 1 to 9 to infinity. But it is empty. So when we add 06 plus 03 plus 1909, we get 1918. So when we collapse that number, because you continue to collapse, reduce, in other words, 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 8 equals 19. And then when we reduce 19 further, 1 plus 9 equals 10. We want to get to just one single digit. Now, 1 plus 0 equals what? Equals 1. Now, what does this tell us? This is telling us that the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, guess what? Is a life path 1. Life path 1. I've been extremely lazy of late on this book, and I've been working on this a long time, but many things will crop up along the way on this secret book. You can see that the late sage Chief Obafemi Awolowo, based on his entry code, access code to this plane of existence, a life path 1. Path 1. Now, ask yourselves one question. The few of you that are online at the moment, could this interpret why Chief Obafemi Awolowo was ahead of his time, and why Chief Obafemi Awolowo was always number 1 in everything as premier of the Western region? The first skyscraper in Africa, Awolowo was number 1. The first television station in Africa, Awolowo was number 1. Awolowo was number 1, first premier of the Western region. Always number one, visionary leader. Can this be the reasons why Awolowo was always number one? Education, health, civil service. Best civil service within the Commonwealth realm. Awolowo was number one. Education, Awolowo was number one in Western region. Employment, he was number one. Farm produce, he was number one. Always number one. Could it mean that Awolowo's life path, when he came ahead of his time, could this spell the reasons why? And you know the funniest part of somebody in the likes of Awolowo that will be a replica of Awolowo to walk through the surface of this planet again. Let me tell you, try it yourself, because I've walked on this many times. Now, for Tetragrammaton Sabaoth, the Lord of Hosts, to send into the world again somebody, another soul that will be like Awolowo, perhaps not as a black man, but somebody else. When that soul goes through the reincarnation cycle, let me tell you, it will take Tetragrammaton Sabaoth to send somebody in the likes of Awolowo back to earth 9 years. You will never get anything close to Awolowo or somebody with that life path the moment they exit this plane of existence to the next dimensional realm. They won't come back until 9 years. Steve Osage, I know you are enjoying the stream. Now, let me bring somebody else, and maybe you can now deduce. Look at this man. Olusegun Obasanjo. His entry code to the 5th of March 1937. Collapse everything. You find out that Obasanjo too was a life path 1. Also a Pisces. Because in 1937, when Obasanjo was born, on that day, Pisces was in constellation. Now, Obasanjo ended up being the head of state because number one are always number one. Now, why was Obasanjo the head of state? Number one citizen of Nigeria, first in 1976 and then in 1999. Number one. Now, because Awolowo and Obasanjo were both life path 1, You don't expect both of them to be compatible. They are arch enemies. I want you guys to get this clear. Now, ask yourselves, why did Obasanjo hated the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo so much? Knowing fully well, he even confirmed in 1979 that the best candidate will not win that election, and he opted out to now hand over power to Shehu Shagari, the Fulani Caliphate man. I don't want to crack you guys up. I don't want to crack you guys up because this platform is too intellectual for a lot of people. Now, look at this. Look at this too. The late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, he was later given the GCFR, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, Life Part 1. Olusegun Obasanjo, GCFR, Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, also a Life Part 1. Awolowo, born on the 5th of March 1909. Look at the date, Pisces. When we begin to gaze into their zodiac signs. Now, Obasanjo, equally born on the 5th of March 1937. Pisces. You see, one thing I find extremely interesting in these two personalities of Yoruba extraction is the fact that both Awo and Olusegun Obasanjo, both of them attended and they were educated at the Baptist Boys High School, Abeokuta, present-day Ogun State. Now, if we take 1909 away from 1937, from 1937 to 1909, we arrive at what again? 28. 2 plus 8, 10. 1. So, the differences between them means there's a big clash. Can this, you see, because I've been working on these Psalms for a while, can this be the reasons why Obasanjo hated Awolowo so much? Can this be the reason why Awolowo was so much hated by Olusegun Obasanjo? Báwo ni Surulere? Good evening. You've probably missed out from the earlier analysis, unless you've joined and you were just on the sideline watching things that I am dishing out. You can clearly see that. Now, let's move on to the next phase. Now, before I move on to the next phase, I think I once shared this with you. before. Now, look at this map. You can clearly see the map of Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and Africa. Yeah, you can clearly see that. And you can obviously see the United Kingdom, Ireland, Denmark. You can clearly see that. For some of you, I know you know exactly what I want to show you, but I'm taking you somewhere. I want you to take note of this. I want to bring in another map. Have you ever seen this before? See, when you go through the book of Genesis, the book of creation, when God molded this world, it was just one big, mighty continent. You can clearly see from this map that South America and Africa fits perfectly well, with all the oceans gathered together in one place. Go back and read your Bible. I'm not going to educate you or frustrate you on the facts that are already contained in the Bible, but I'm just referring to when God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. When God's Spirit was moving over the water, and God said, firmament should come up, that is, land should come up. When those land came up, all the continents were all together, and this was what the Pangea brought together 200 million years ago. 200 million years ago, all the continents on the earth were actually one huge supercontinent, surrounded by one enormous, mighty ocean. And you see, when you look at the map of South America and Africa, they fit perfectly well. And when you look at Saudi Arabia and Africa 200 million years ago, as well as Israel, they were one supercontinent called, well, they call it Africa, but it wasn't called Africa then. And look at the distance between North America and Africa. That's why they reckon fossils, human skulls, vegetation, everything that are found in Africa are equally found in South America, because when you look at that map between Angola and South America, where South America was with Africa, just right by the equator, Angola, you will find the same vegetation, the same plants growing in all those parts. The same plants that will grow in Nigeria are growing as well in Brazil, until the continental drift came. And then South America then broke away from the rest of Africa, and America's Atlantic Ocean then separated those two continents, and North America and South America went their own way. India got separated, then Saudi Arabia and the Middle East got separated, and suddenly the Red Sea then came in, and so on and so forth. Take note of that. Now, in that same old Pangea continent, you can clearly see that Europe was not far-fetched from Africa. Now, if we look into this, let me take you back to this. In fact, before this, let me bring this for you. Now, you can see when the continents drifted apart. And you can clearly see Europe, you can see Africa, you can see North America with a big gigantic ocean separating Africa and the America. And at the top, you can clearly see the Scandinavia. You can clearly see the United Kingdom. Now look at Europe. Let me show you this. Look at this map again. Look at. This is a map that will tell you exactly what God was doing. The greatest architect, the greatest artist, the greatest mathematician, the greatest designer. Look at what he's done. What can you see? What exactly? I want somebody to actually tell me what you can see before I explain. Let's get interacted. What can you see? No answer. What can you see? In this map, what exactly can you see? I am not going to repeat this, but I'm going to tell you exactly what I see, because I can see things far more deeper than many people will think. What is this animal? This is a hyena. In Yoruba language, they call this ikoko. Hyena, ikoko, a wild dog. I'm going somewhere. Technology never got to where it is today when I first streamed this a couple of years ago. Hyena. Right or wrong? Hyena. Now, when you look at this map, what is the difference between that hyena and Europe and Africa? Does that mean that the entire European countries are hyenas? Look at the mouth of the hyena. The mouth of the hyena is in Portugal, over Morocco, sucking and eating Africa's bone and flesh. The leg of the hyena is in Italy. Let me show you once again. I want you to look at that picture once again. Now, in fact, let's see this. Look at this. I made it simple for you by bringing in hyena and the map of Europe with Portugal, eating the African continent to its bones and flesh, because hyena is a wild dog that will eat both flesh and bone. Does that mean that the Europeans are a gang of hyenas eating African flesh and bones? Look at the picture look at hyena in real life and look at the map of Europe. Does this make any sense to you? Nobody is saying this, and nobody can actually present this presentation the way I will present it. Mind you, guys, we don't monetize this page. We don't commercialize our page. It is non-profit, and NuMedia TV is strictly for educational purpose, news reporting, comments, and critique. So we don't monetize our page unlike others. So the whole idea is to educate and to broaden your horizon into seeing things that you have never seen before. But unfortunately, many people simply don't go to where knowledge is. My people perish for knowledge. Now, let me play you exactly what this person said about black people. Listen.
There's 233 independent nations on the earth. Out of the 233 independent nations, black people at $1.3 trillion are the 8th richest nation in the world. Yet, we don't have anything in our community that we can call our own. So by the simple fact that we're the 8th richest nation on the earth and we don't have our own educational system, don't feed ourselves, grow our own food, is a sign that we got dollars, but we need some sense. So I said we blame the white man for 95% of our problems, but we still spend 97% of our money with them. We do have $1.3 trillion in money. That's income though, and that's not wealth. So when the math is calculated, black people only possess less than 2% of the wealth of the United States of America. Income and wealth are two different concepts. Income is the money you earn by exchange of your time or the sale of a good product or service. But wealth is when you exchange that money for something that either keeps value or increases in value over time. Black people, we are the leaders in unnecessary spending. We buy stuff we don't need from people that we don't like to impress people we don't know, and at the end of the math of the equation, we end up having nothing but a whole bunch of name brand stuff, but never businesses that we can pass down to our children or real estate that increases or keeps its value over time. So we've got income, but we don't have the wealth. That's why I said we've got dollars, but we need some sense. Out of that $1.3 trillion, do you know that we spend $23 billion a year on clothes, $11 billion a year on furniture, $3.2 billion on keeping up with the latest cell phone that came out, $46 billion on cars, $60 billion on legal and illegal drugs, $32 billion dressing up the outside of our head. But when it comes to dressing up the inside of our mind, which is the purchase of books, only $300 million is purchased in books. My people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge. So we should be investing more in the building up
Of the mind.
and building up of our character, getting the sense that we need to go with those dollars, so that when we marry our wealth with some wisdom, we can actually leave something behind for our children and our children's children they can call their own.
Did you hear that? We don't have wealth. And I once stated that black people don't have economic power. And economic power is the lower ladder of the economic structure that the economic power determines political power. Let me see if I can equally bring in that illustration for you. If I have it here. If I have it. We don't have any economic power. And that's why you have the likes of MC Oluomo and the rest of them messing you all up. Unfortunately, it is not here. So I won't be bothered looking for it. Yeah, it is here. I found it. Let me bring it in. I found it. Yeah, it is there. I found it. It is there. Where is it again? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, this is it. Guys, for those of you that are here, see at the bottom of these 5 ladders is the economics. If you don't have economic power, in other words, as the foundation of your struggle, you cannot determine exactly what is going to happen on the second ladder, which is politics. You cannot determine it. Because you can only determine what will happen on the second ladder of politics if you have economic base, economic power. When you have economic power, then you can dictate on your own terms to the politicians at the second ladder of politics, because they will listen to you. Now, guess what? That is why, in economic terms, the likes of Dangote, Femi Otedola, and all those rich people in Nigeria determine exactly economic power. I mean, political power, because they've got economic power. And at the third ladder, the moment political power is attained, politics control the court system. They control the police department. And you know what? The moment now, look at Nigeria. They messed ordinary common people up with economic power. Because they don't have any economic power. Let me bring you this. So as to buttress this argument that your people, they live in penury because they don't have any economic power. Because they don't have any economic power, you know what happened? Their life is hell. They live in hell. Now, Watch this. Nigerians suffering. Watch this.
Please, if government work, if they cannot protest, we Yanaga, we go up our yash, we go up our breath, we go protest. Too much stubbornness, too much for this country. But before you win, we go suffer. The stubbornness is too much. Please, when they find solution for this, it's too much. God, it's 2,000 naira. Since when my father bought me, and now buy 1,000 naira pence of dairy. They're selling it 2,000 naira now. It's too much. The savannah is too much. Even saying the right, the liquor one rise up to 1,200 naira. For what reason? It's too much, to buy meat. With the even the promoter don't rise up. Two fish for Chicago, 1,200 naira. Three of the pieces of it. It's too much.
Now, you can clearly see that. You can clearly see that. Now, if you look at that, it is because, number one, I'm still coming back to that tape. Those people shouting hunger, 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 hunger now, they don't have any economic power. The likes of Aliko Dangote, Femi Otedola, Mike Adenuga, this guy that just died a week way in America in the helicopter crash, and the rest of them, they determine political power because they've got huge economic power. And the moment they determine political power, politics determine the third ladder, the court systems, and the court systems control the police department. And then the court system and the police department, guess what? Control the fourth ladder, which is media and communications. Because if the media and communications does not dance to the tune of the court systems and the police department, they are shut down. But the mistakes many people are making is they keep educating their children. Education is good. Not that education is not good. Education is good. But what is the value of education when you don't have the number one system that all the remaining four will have to stand on? Politics, the court systems, the police department, media communications, and education. Now, today, I want you to figure it out. Today, that is why you have the likes of Seun Kibaloye and many of the journalists, world first-class journalists in Nigeria, that complain bitterly. They can only complain. They can only moan because they've got the education. And that education they've got doesn't provide any value for them because they ain't got no economic power. The likes of Seun Kibaloye, Kayode Akintemi, Dr. Ruben Abati, and many of those foremost journalists. I'm not talking about Bolekaja journalists here, like some Bolekaja journalists that I'm not going to mention their names, the reputable ones. They are right on the fourth ladder of the economic structure, but their voices, it's like they are loners in a treacherous world. And if care is not taken, the court systems and the police department will slam them. What do you think is happening to Omoyele Sowore right now? Is because they haven't got the economic power. And that's why the police department and the court systems continue to slam Omoyele Sowore of Sahara Reporters with indictment time after time. Now, Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho from the Yoruba agitation, they ain't got the economic power to fight those at the second ladder, the politics. That's why the police department and the court system is currently working against them. I don't know if I'm making sense to some of you. See, this is what is happening. Now, when it comes to that last video I played you, those people created that problem for themselves because they haven't got economic power. And because they haven't got economic power, mind you, before the 2023 elections, hey, ladies and gentlemen, they were all paid. That lady shouting, Ibn Power, we are hungry, they were all paid. They all got recharge cards. Some people benefited from the same corrupt system. Now, watch this. I want you to watch this. Let me see. The recharge card. I believe I've got that recharge card in here somehow. Yeah, I think I have it somewhere here. I will try and look for it for you. Pop. 1 minute, guys. I know I have it somewhere here. Yeah, I know I have it somewhere here. I found it. Now, guys, I want you to watch this because all of them are complaining that they are hungry. Bola Tinubu it's not bringing out food. It's not bringing palliatives to them. Watch this. You can clearly see them. Bola Tinubu 2023 APC recharge cards.
That's from APC. APC.
Reach everybody. Reach everybody. Stop, brother, stop.
Thank you.
No money. Many times collect that money. I don't say no dirty card didn't give you. Any network. Any network. Any network.
Any network. Any network. Any network.
Chat card for you.
From Jagaban himself.
Now, please tell me. I want somebody to please correct me. They were distributing free recharge card to people. Free. Now, where exactly? Ibo ni owó yẹn gbé ti jáde? Alaji Osholade Alakofo Baba Badon, good evening. Ibole, where did you think the money came from? Now, you see the way they have used hunger to kill your inner spirit, not your inner soul. Because your inner soul that I was talking about earlier on had already been damaged completely. And now, what they are now concentrating on is to destroy your spirit. And they had already succeeded in destroying your spirit. Your inner soul is already destroyed. Kaput. So the next thing they want to do is to now destroy your own spirit. And that spirit, the moment it is destroyed, that means that type of recharge cards you are taking from them, you are equally a beneficiary of the blood money. Wager. See, it is tough. Like I always say, don't like me, even if it is 3 people watching my stream, they will benefit because I will prepare their mind. I will prepare your mind for the future so that when all those things begin to unfold, you will then begin to say, Frank Bello said this some time ago. That is exactly what I want. Because kò ń ṣe gbogbo ẹni tó ní ojú bí ló fi ń ríran. Kò ń ṣe gbogbo ẹni tó ní. Kò dẹ̀ ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn ni Ọlọ́run fún ní ẹ̀bùn ẹ̀. Darani Jojo one, thank you. Thank you. Let me post your comment. You said good education. You are really learning. That is the purpose of the social media. To learn, to teach, to coach you up, to broaden your horizon, and then to nourish your inner mind and your soul. You see? Sherikpe, gbogbo wọn ti gbàgbé. All of them, they've forgotten that in 2023, they all collected blood money through a recharge card. Now, that money that was spent by Bola Tinubu to give them 200 naira or 500 naira recharge card on any network, that money came from somewhere. And Bola Tinubu must return that money back to where it came from, because there is nothing called free lunch. if those politicians are so confident of themselves, like Awolowo was confident of himself in 1973 and in 1983, Awolowo never gave a shishi out. And in 1979, I voted for the first time in my life in a Nigerian election. And I voted my conscience, UPN, at the state level, and UPN, excuse me, at the federal. I voted my conscience. All what UPN did was they printed all their manifestos and they were campaigning, and the whole of us in the Southwest, we bought the agenda. And UPN, and under the leadership of Awolowo in all the UPN control states, delivered on all their 4 cardinal programs. Even before they came into power, when they got into power, immediately they got into power, they started delivering on education, on housing, on employment. Awolowo ruled Lagos for a full 1-year term, won the election the second term before the military intervention in 1983. Okay? Few months into their second term when the military struck. Jakonde, Bola Ige, Bisi Onabanjo, Ambrose Ali, and Adekunle Ajashin, they never owned luxurious property. So all those 5 controlled European states. They never bribed electorates. The works of their hands judged them at the polls. You see, the first thing that they used, apart from ideological subversion, demoralization, because the whole of Nigeria are already demoralized anyway, especially you in the southern Nigeria, the Yorubas and the southwest and the southeast. You are all messed up, completely screwed up by the political elites. And they've used hunger that subsequently resulted into poverty. They've destroyed your children's education right all the way from 1999. And you continue to run after the same moronic vagabonds. And you continue to say rakandede to them as they continue to destroy your lives. The only problem is we that are in the diaspora are the one picking your shackles. And I think right now, my eyes is even now red. There's a limit to how many people I can help. I've got my own problems as well to sort out here. If I leave my own problem unattended and begin to attend to your own problem that you deliberately created it yourselves, knowing fully well that you had the opportunities as at that time to turn things around, but because of your own personal greed as electorates, you continue to take blood money from those blood-sucking parasites that you called politicians. You see, because Europe, the hyena that will eat, suck the African blood, eat African flesh, eat African bones, eat everything, continue to eat, and they continue to use all your politicians for their own gain. That's why Europe made sure that all those nasty leaders, because as Europe is eating, sucking, and eating your flesh and bones, they've got all the records of how much your leaders looted and how they had already deprived you, the electorate. So if they want to turn around against the hyenas, this lot, if they want to turn around, if your leaders wants to go against these hyenas, these European hyenas, see, if your leaders in Africa wants to go against the European gang of hyenas, sucking African blood from Europe, eating African flesh and bones to the ground, they know that all those politicians will be put to shame or they will be killed, because they know where all their monies are stashed. In Bank Paribas, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Morgan Stanley, they know. That's exactly what is happening. See, let's go on a short break.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following program you're about to watch is brought to you by NuMedia TV in London. Live stream with confidence.
Yes, welcome back, guys. I hope you guys are not interacting. Are you very scared? I can see that Anijo Jumo said he's really learning, but here I call a spade, and I don't really care how many people are here, because maybe the stream is too intellectual. Thank you, Steve Osage. You said You are learning a lot. Thank you. Just like Daranijo Jumo. So you can't get this type of information from any other platform. I'm so unique. Likewise, the channel is very unique. It is not for the faint-hearted, but for the enlightened ones, those that are enlightened, those that are illuminated. So for you to be here, you are enlightened, you are illuminated. Thank you, guys. Darani Jojumo. He said, this is grown folks' education. Indeed. It is not for the faint-hearted. Now, I said something. I said, we come to this world with nothing, and we will surely return back with absolute nothing. Now, look at I want to show you this. We will be bringing tonight's show to an end very gradually, and then on Friday we will go into another segment of which way Nigeria, which way to go. Now, guys, look at this picture. Look at that picture. That picture you are looking in front of your screen was when I was seriously in search of June 12. In 2011. This was when my investigation took me to the late Are Arishekola in Ibadan. And when I say to all of you that I spent my own money, by the way, because I was in search of the truth. And right in front of Are Arishekola on his left hand, you can see a black dictaphone. A black dictaphone. See, I've still got that dictaphone kept at a secured location. It contained every word spoken by Are Arishekola, being somebody that witnessed the annulment of June 12, to which in that same tape you are looking at, he told me to put it into my magazine that he is using my medium to challenge Olusegun Obasanjo to a television debate, and he will confront Obasanjo with the evidence that he gave the military order to Ibrahim Babangida to annul the June 12 and never to hand over power to a womanizer. It is contained in that tape. And you can see me clearly with my notepad on my lap, because I knew I was recording everything, but you see, I continue to take notes, and in case I want to make certain clarification, I'll just note that down and I will question him. I interviewed Arishekola for almost about an hour and a half to 2 hours on the issue of June 12. I told you guys I've got loads of evidence. Thank God he's on tape. And I'm not willing to release the tape right now. I'm not going to release that tape now. Everything is inside there. And I've still got all the tapes. These were my works that I spent my own hard-earned money on. Now, at that time, at that particular time, Arishekola never realized perhaps that yeah, let me bring in this one. And that was both of us after the interview. With a copy of Hello magazine at the time. He posed and he said, "Oh, Frank, let me take pictures with you and your magazine as the publisher." And I did that. Now, this man, Belubobobi, as people trooped into Arishekola's house, and you will see crowds of people in this house, that is the same house today. Nature had already taken over the same house. That house is empty. See, now this is now taking us back to where I started. We come with nothing, we surely will go back with nothing. We come. You see, Arishekola never took his mansion back to heaven. Is this not a big lesson? Access Bank CEO, plus all, they said his house was worth 50 billion US dollars. The house he built at Queen's Drive in Ikoyi, state of the house, everything controlled by Google and Siri. Has he taken anything? Not even $1. Some people came before. They've passed through this life. Arishekola, Shehu Shagari, MKO Abiola, their remains is nothing to talk about. Arishekola's home in Ibadan, maybe it must have grown even bad as we talk. See? To make matter worse, Arishekola's grave in Ibadan in his house. Ilé ayé, ilé asán. Today, people still talk about Awolowo. What a legacy. The only thing they remembered MKO Abiola for was the winner of June 12. Don't forget, Abiola played a pivoted role in making sure that Awolowo never became the president in 1979 too. Because he was dancing and romancing with the Fulani's hegemony. Look at Arishekola's grave in Ibadan, SMFR, 6 foot below. We will all end up that way one day anyway. The remains of Concord Press that used to flourish. What about Abiola's house today? Deserted. Nothing. No crowd. Nothing to show for it. Concord Press, Nigeria Limited, used to be crowd polling. In the late 70s, early 80s. Bobwe, Otidiakoro. But many of the businesses and conglomerates that Awolowo established, the Odua group of companies, the Nigerian Tribune, because they were not Awolowo's property, but the property of the then old Western region, all of them are still flourishing and they are making it today. You see? I'm sorry to have to say it. MKO was part and parcel of the problems that is bedeviling Nigeria today. Because those days, the likes of Bola Tinubu and many of them, they look up to him and they know that the ways and manners MKO Abiola got his wealth was not through a means that is sanctified by Tetragrammaton Sabaoth, the Lord of Hosts. Owó epo, owó ẹ̀jẹ̀, owó emèrè, owó àjẹ́, owó ẹlẹ́bọra, owó oṣó. What's the end? Nothing. Gone. Gone. Ilé ayé, ilé asán. Ilé ayé, ilé asán. I am not going to stop doing good, but I will have to limit my goodness to some people that are in Nigeria. I will rather concentrate on my goodness with the country I live, because there are so many homeless people as well and hungry people on the streets of London. And I'm not going to lie to you. Even if it is £1, I give out for people to buy tea, or I buy them chicken and chips. When they are hungry, it goes a long way. You see, you find people that will claim they are hungry in Nigeria, but they still go to parties. Muti, I've seen their nakedness. I've taken my time to study both men and women, especially in southern Nigeria, and I've seen their nakedness. In as much as they've got the right to take their own destiny into their own hands and create a conducive environment that will change the course of the destinies in their lives, they don't. I will pump real words, real things into you guys. Please don't like me. If you like, share the stream. If you like, don't even share it. I don't care. Nobody respected Yahushua that you people call Jesus. Well, the church, the Catholic Church, made us believe he's Jesus. Nobody liked him. Nobody loved him when he was alive, when he came through the surface of this planet. Too many enemies. So I don't really care. But he delivered what God sent him to do in his journey, walking through this plane of existence. Truth hurts. And it is the truth I will continue to pump out. And when I'm gone, I don't even want anybody to celebrate me or my life. No, I don't want anyone. I just want to go peacefully and quietly and rest. Now, look at this. Look at. There was once a man like this, Shehu Shagari. That was Shehu Shagari in 1979 when he was being sworn in as executive president, when Obasanjo handed power to him in 1979 at the Tafawa Balewa Square. You can see him. Obasanjo gave the wrong candidate in 1979 the mandate to rule and preside over a country to which corruption took to the next level. Shehu Shagari. I remembered in 1979 I still remember because that thing got buried in my brain. When in his broadcast at Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos, Shehu Shagari said, "My fellow contestants, I want you all to come and join me and let us build a stability and united nation." Fellow contestant, when, as a matter of fact, the entire country, apart from the fact that Gowon started the decapitation immediately after the Civil War, and it continued, but how Nigeria survived up till today, I still don't know. With the level of corruption in that shithole called Location 9, Nigeria. There was once a man like that called Shehu Shagari in 1979. That was the same man when he died. That was the remains of Shehu Shagari when he died. Ẹ rí pé ilé ayé, ilé asán. And that was prayers being offered at his reposed soul in Sokoto. The same man. See, he came with nothing. Like I always say, he surely will return back with absolute nothing. I will continue to hammer this in time after time for you guys. You see, Shagari's body, his body, unfortunately, you and I too will end up that day. We will end up like that one day. But that time is exactly what we don't know. And guess what? Shehu Shagari's final resting place. See? Former Nigerian head of state, 6 foot below. It's gone down. This world. Think. Think. It is not easy, guys. You see, when you get hold of power, a handful of people that get hold onto power, that gets into power, they're always intoxicated. Always intoxicated. Always intoxicated. I don't know why people get intoxicated with power. Me, I don't know why. Hang on, guys. I don't know why people get intoxicated with power. But some of them are aware of the fact that we come to this world with nothing, and we definitely will return back at some point in time with nothing. Yeah. Let me wait for the program to respond. The program is playing up. I'm just waiting for it to respond, because it seems the system is buffering. Hold on, guys. Yeah, it seems it is frozen. If you can hear me clearly. Yeah, I'm watching the other screen. Yes, it is still responding from the camera, but from the program I am about to play. Guys, hang on. If this got shut down, I don't know. Maybe we will carry on, although the stream is not ending. But and I don't want to shut it down automatically. Let me wait for the program to respond. Well, it is not responding. It is taking some time. Okay, guys, let's do it this way. Let's bring the stream to an end, and then on Friday we're going to carry on from where we stopped. So, guys, let me bring tonight's stream to an end, and on Friday, please join me for the next part of Which Way Nigeria, Which Way to Go. I've got some other few stuff for you. Until that period in time, take good care of yourselves, and I hope to see you on Friday. Peace and God bless you. Good night. Take care of yourselves.